Before I start, I'm going to tell it just like Grandma did. She told them all in Cherokee, uh, but I'm just going to do the first part in Cherokee and then do it in English. This is what it sounded like when Grandma told the story. Ilahayu Jagesa, Nigada Iniga Ane Jaleg Johnny Warniska. Literally translated, that means in the great forever that was, all the forest dwellers spoke Cherokee. Now, I said that at a storytelling place one time, and this old Kiowa man sitting in front held up his hand and said, "Hey, wait a minute, they spoke Kiowa too." So
That's a good one.
ever since then, I tell people they spoke to Grandma in Cherokee. Okay, but
And probably a little Kiowa. They're
yeah,
bilingual.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But loosely translated, we just say a long time ago, back when the animals could talk. So anyway, she would tell me this story, and she would set me down and tell me this story at least every other day. And I don't remember her telling the other guys this story. I have brothers and a sister, but I don't remember her telling the other guys this story. Just me, and we'll kind of figure out why at the end. So anyway, this is the story. She said a long time ago, a lot of the animals didn't look the way they do today. The bear wasn't big and strong. The eagle didn't fly as high. Skunk didn't smell. And the rabbit didn't look the way he does today. He didn't have the long ears. They were short. And he didn't have the long back legs. They were short. And instead of that cute little cottontail, he had a long bushy tail. Well, one day, there's this person that we call Unesana. That's his Cherokee name. Unesana, translated, that's the great proportioner. Well, he was among the stars and he was looking at the world one day, and he saw how this one day all the animals on earth were being nice to each other. And he liked that. He said, "Hey, look at that. Nobody's eating each other. Everybody's helping with each other's chores. I like that. I think I'll just go down there and give everybody one wish." And so that's what he done. He come down from among the stars. He came to earth and he told all the animals, "You guys have been so cool with each other. I'm going to give everybody one wish. No matter what you ask for, I'm going to give it to you." And so he told the animals to line up, and that line of animals went, for as far as you could see. So many animals that line probably went around the earth once or twice. One by one, they came and stood in front of Unesana. When they were standing there, he would ask them, "What is your wish?" And whatever animal was there would give them their wish. Like the bear, the bear wasn't big and strong. So the bear looked up at him and said, "Everybody's always picking on us. So we was wondering if you could help us." And so Unesana said, "Sure." So he went, poof. So the bear is one of the biggest and strongest animals in the woods, so nobody picks on him no more. Well, here comes the eagle come flopping up. Unesana asked him what his wish was, and the eagle said, "We'd like to be able to fly. Even turkeys fly better than us right now." And so Unesana said, "Okay." So he went poof, and that eagle's wings come out, and he started flying around in a circle, way up until he was nothing but a dot in the sky, and then pretty soon even that disappeared. So today, a lot of tribes believe that the eagle carries our prayers up to Unesana. Well, finally, here comes the skunk. Skunk come waddling up. Unesana says, "What is your wish?" And the skunk looks up and says, "We want to be left alone. Everybody's always bothering us and borrowing money from us and everything. We just want to be left alone." And so Unesana said, "Sure." So we went poof. And so the skunk is stinky now, so everybody leaves him alone. And Grandma said, "We better leave him alone too, or, we get stinky too." So anyway, finally here comes the rabbit. Rabbit comes, he didn't come hopping up like he would today. Instead, he come waddling up because all his legs were short. Well, he stood in front of Unesana and he asked him, "What is your wish?" And the rabbit looked up at him and said,
Well, sir, we have two wishes if that's all right.
and Unesana said, "Yeah, I feel good. I'll give you two wishes." And so Rabbit said,
Well, we have these short ears, so we can't hear anybody when they're sneaking up on us. And when we finally do hear them, we have these short legs, so we can't run away fast enough, and everybody's eating us for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and snacks in between. Can you help us?
And so Unesana said, yeah, I can help you, but I can't poof you like I did everybody else. We're going to have to do you a different way. And so Unesana told all the animals he didn't want anybody to see what he was going to do. So all the animals that were still waiting on their wishes, they all turned around. All the animals that had already gotten their wishes, they all turned around. When Unesana was sure that nobody was watching, he reached down there and picked up old Rabbit, and he grabbed those little bitty short ears, and he yanked, and those ears, they come stretching out, and Rabbit went, and when his ears come up like that, remember that long bushy tail? It come up like that. Now, Grandma said if you push those ears back in, that tail will come back out. But it don't work, you know, and you just get bit, right? And I still had the scar. But
You
anyway,
tried it.
anyway, he turned the rabbit around, and he grabbed those back legs, and he yanked, and those back legs come stretching out. But you know what? While he was stretching out those back legs, he looked down the line of animals that were still waiting on their wishes, and way down there, the owl was watching. You know how an owl can be looking one way and he can just turn his head and he can look behind him? That's what he had done. And when the owl saw those back legs come stretching out, his eyes got real big. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. When Athanas saw the owl watching, he dropped Rabbit and said, oh, that's it. No more wishes. The owl disobeyed. I asked everybody not to watch, but the owl disobeyed. And because he disobeyed, you know, he messed it up for everybody. And I'm going to make his eyes stay that way. And so that's why the eyes of the owl are always big to this day. Well, Uneslana said, well, I'm going to go back home. So he started going back to among the stars. And while he was going up, Rabbit started jumping around saying, wait a minute, what about me? You still got to stretch out my front legs. Uneslana said, someday, when everybody on earth is nice to each other again, I'll come back and I'll stretch out your front legs. So that's what the rabbit's waiting on, for all of us to be nice to each other so he can have his front legs stretched out. Now, Grandma used to say, now how can you help out the rabbit? And of course, be nice. Now, Grandma would tell me that story, like I said, almost every other day, right after I got through fighting with my brother or sister. And I always wondered why she never told them that. Then I finally remembered it was probably because I was the one that started the fights. It was her way of telling me to be nice, you know. And so those are the kind of stories I grew up with. You know, a lot of stories, they have some kind of a moral or a lesson to them. There's some stories that really don't have any, then they were just for entertainment.